Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em, single bottle, never stop it. To the beast and load 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world.
What's up, everybody? This is Ted Karras of the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cincy Hat, and you're watching Bengals and Brews.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show. Dustin's in the back being creepy.
Oh, go ahead. Hands off. There you go.
There we go.
Hands up. Don't
Dust, are you in heaven or something right now?
I don't know, bro. My camera is just this. I think it's the
Utah.
glare. It's the glare from like I'm trying to figure this out because it's always a glare from my windows.
I think there's cum on it.
That's true.
Well,
what were you doing right before you turned on that camera?
Right.
Dude, I've been just working, bro. Working, trying to evaluate prospects, trying to put this Bengals roster together. They don't call me Dustin Tobin for nothing. You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's hard work out here for a pimp.
Hashtag Dustin Tobin.
I mean, we had the 3 signings and now radio silence. We had Tyson Anderson going to the Broncos, not going to the Broncos, then going to the Broncos.
He got there.
He made it.
It's kind of wacky. That was weird.
CTB go to the Colts yet?
Yes. CTB.
Yeah, he did. Officially signed, huh? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll take his shit out of my shop. Hurry up if you want some CTB stuff.
Make a Colts one. Just go multi-team, bro.
Right. He's Colts juice. Isn't that like? Can't you sell that for like a lot of money? Colt juice.
Yeah. Dustin is Duke Tobin, and we can't fire him because he works for the Bengals. But Dustin, bye.
Yeah.
If you're the Duke Tobin, get the fuck out of here.
It's the one Tobin we can get off.
It is kind of interesting though, like the Colts trying to put. I don't understand their roster mechanisms right now. You give Alec Pierce, Daniel Jones a bunch of money, and you bring over CTB. I'm just like, what are they doing?
Blue.
Well, don't tell that to my brother-in-law, Dustin, but he gets offensive with me every time if I bring something like that up, or he comes right back at me with the Bengals. So I'm going to let it be with him.
I got to tell you, I hope he finds himself in Indianapolis and he does a good job, man. I really love his mom and dad. They're great people, so I hope he does.
According to Daryl, we love you.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I think he's lost some giddy up in that step. His hips don't move at all anymore, but we'll see, man.
He's got arthritis in his hips now.
Yeah, he just, dude, I don't know. Maybe it's like lost confidence, but he just looks slow to me. Like, I know he wasn't ever the twitchiest guy in the world, but he was just getting cooked off the line like all the time. I couldn't stand watching him anymore. Like, if you're getting that cooked and you're in bump and run, like, back off like 5 yards. At least give yourself a chance,
Well, you get to see him this year because we play in Indy.
I like it.
Well, we have not signed a linebacker, and that's what we're going to talk about during the show is some draft guys. Now, I know we got the 2 young guys. Would they draft another? I don't know. They probably shouldn't have taken 2 linebackers last year in a weak linebacker class. I think this class is much better.
Yeah.
And I think you still need to add a body there. So I'm not opposed if it's a 2nd, 3rd, 4th round guy and you're like, oh, maybe they're not instant impact. They're competition and maybe they are better than what you have in-house, right? I mean, Barrett Carter was also a 4th round pick, and maybe in this class he'd be a 5th or 6th round pick. So maybe you get a guy in the 3rd or 4th round this year that's better,
Would Dale Crew, would you guys be I would like for them to go with more of a hybrid guy for this linebacker role, you know what I mean? Because it kind of does seem like we're like bringing a lot of hybridness to our teams, like a Gabe Lucas that can play on the edge, a guy like that, or I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting if Sonny Styles at the pro day, if they have him, because he's already done obviously all the, like, he doesn't need to show much. I would like for him to run through like some defensive end drills there to see like, what he can do there. I would like us to draft a linebacker with that type of versatility. You know what I mean?
What's funny is, because I was about to text you, Dale, like, would you go inside or outside linebacker? So, because I think we are looking for an outside guy, because I guess they expect Knight to play inside. But anyway, you know what I do? I call the Dolphins right now. The Dolphins are just tanking right now. They're getting rid of their players. Jordan Brooks Hey, I'll take him right now for a 5th-round pick. I'll pick him up at the airport, bring him some Midwest Best Barbecue.
We don't have a 5th-round pick, Greg.
What?
We don't have a 5th-round pick.
All right, I'll trade the 6th-round pick. My 2 6th-rounders. Who cares? I would get him some Midwest Best Barbecue and a Chop Shop shirt, proud sponsor of the show. Throw that all in there and get Jordan Brooks in a heartbeat. That's what I do.
What do you guys think is more likely? We're done tacking the defensive line or done? I mean, we're going to do something at linebacker. Maybe this is a stupid question, but do you think they looked at the draft board and this is a really deep linebacker draft and they're like, okay, we can hold off on some of these guys because we like the talent that's in the draft, and we'll circle back around after the draft to just kind of fill in with like a veteran linebacker kind of thing?
That's exactly what will probably happen.
I mean, like if it's Bobby Wagner doesn't sign until after the draft, probably, no matter where he goes. So I don't know. Maybe they were thinking like that to bring in a veteran like Bobby Wagner or something like that. If that was the plan, I guess, so far mission accomplished.
Well, yeah, I don't even think Bobby Wagner will sign until like the summer's over.
No,
to be honest.
probably not.
No.
He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of these guys are signing and will sign. Like, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of guys out there. I think they want to know where they're going. And if somebody offers them a contract, I think Wagner, Okereke, those guys will go ahead and sign because maybe you got less suitors after the draft. You know what I mean? So from their standpoint, I know it's always like, maybe they hold off. I don't think it's a bad idea for them to hold off and wait. I mean, things happen, players get cut, traded, whatever. Maybe a spot opens up, but I don't know. I just think there's not going to be more money. So it's like, if they have an offer, they'll take it, but they got to have an offer too. And we don't know if Bobby Wagner still wants to play, right?
Right, sure.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Would he want to come here? Like, does he want to come here? Is he just waiting to go back to Washington? You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing we've seen. Who was the guard that ended up just retiring that everybody was kind of in on?
Sheriff.
Yeah.
Sheriff.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Sure.
I forgot about him.
Yeah. Part of our strategy we always is just like assume these guys are going to keep playing, but they might just be like, gets to the middle of the summer. They're like, I don't want to do this anymore,
Right.
Well,
so with that in mind, we'll take a look at some of the linebackers with the draft class. Talk more draft today. My number one linebacker, I got Sonny Styles, and I got him over Arvell Reese, and I know Arvell Reese is probably going to go higher, maybe not much higher, to be honest, because everybody's penciling in Reese to the Jets. Seems like they could use the linebacker / edge, and that's part of it with Reese. You're projecting maybe he plays more on the edge, but I still have them both at linebackers, and just honestly, if I'm ranking them as linebackers, I think Sonny Styles is a better linebacker, more productive, better instincts. Just he's a better linebacker right now. And not to mention, and Reese is a good athlete too, but Styles had the 9.99 relative athletic score. He's an absolute freak show. Originally a safety, converted to linebacker. He's a guy that I thought from year one playing linebacker to year two was phenomenal this past season. Like it just night and day. And it's like you're just projecting that guy to keep getting better as a linebacker, knowing what to do. He's known as like a high character team leader type of guy. I don't think he makes it to 10, but Sonny Styles, to me, if he's there at 10, I don't even think it. You think about it. Like I would take Styles over Downs. I would take Styles over
Bailey,
probably Ruben Bain.
I
would probably take Styles over Bailey, but I really like Bailey, and I think Bailey would give us that pure pass rusher that maybe we don't have.
Yeah.
So that would at least be like a conversation for me. But I love Sonny Styles. So what is everybody's thoughts on Styles? I think is a guy you move around, has played a lot of football at Ohio State, but still only like 21 years old. Yeah. So thoughts on Styles, and then we can kind of, lump in Reese with this conversation.
I mean, I also feel like Styles, if he's there at pick number 10, he should probably be our pick. We got a big gaping hole linebacker. You're talking about a linebacker that, I mean, he tested real good. I'm a little bit hesitant on Sonny Styles, just to be honest, because before he ran around in Indianapolis in his underwear, he was like bottom of the first round, second round pick. Now all of a sudden, you think he was like top 5 before that?
I don't know that he was top 5, top 10, and he probably should have been. Like the way, like his Indiana tape, like when I watched that, I thought was excellent. You're just talking about awesome player. Like
Yeah.
he was everywhere on the field, making all the plays. But he was a solid top.
Sure.
I kept mocking him like to 12 to Dallas. I never thought he'd get past 12 before the combine. Now it's like, I don't think he'll be there at 10. That, you know what I mean?
This is what I feel about Sonny Styles. This is for Sonny Styles with me. It's the Tate Ratledge conversation from last year. So I think Sonny Styles at pick 10 would be freaking awesome. But I also think, and we'll talk about him coming up, that there's some really good picks at 41 if you used your pick 10 on something different. I don't think you're really missing out a whole lot if you take a linebacker at 41. That's my feeling on Sonny Styles. I would also love to have him at 10.
I kind of agree with you a little bit, Chop, because I am a premium pick guy in the first round. And I know a lot of the top players fall at non-premium spots. But if I'm getting at somebody in the first round, I'm getting somebody that's going to be hard to find later, And now the edge class, you can find some dudes, you know what I mean, later. That's where I've already submitted my final mock with Delane. So you kind of know where I stand for that 10th pick. But I'm somebody like I'm not mad about it, but I'd rather go with like a premium pick at 10, like a rusher or a DB.
Samuel says, what if we sign a linebacker and Sonny drops this? I think that would have been a tougher conversation had it been a Devin Lloyd, a Leo Chenal. But now you're talking Bobby Wagner would be like a 1-year deal. Okereke probably a 1-year deal. So nobody that you would sign at this point, if you sign him now, to me would keep you from taking Styles if that's your guy at 10.
What if you traded for someone like Jordan Brooks? Just say if you did, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know his contract situation, how many years he has on it and stuff like that. But if he has multiple years of his contract left, then that would be something that maybe you're like, yeah, we feel good about the position now.
No, they said you'd have to rework his contract. He's got like 1 year left. You'd have to rework his contract. Or
you just keep him on the 1 year. And if you're doing that, then I still think Styles will be in play. But if you're giving up draft capital, you probably do want to sign the guy to an extension knowing you traded for him.
Right, exactly.
My other thought too, it's like, would you take now early Logan Wilson, but we got him in the third round. Would you take third round Logan Wilson over the upside of Sonny Styles if you're passing up like a premium pick at 10?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think you're passing up a Joe Burrow, a T. Higgins, even from the second round. Like I just don't see these premier guys and at the positions that we need. Like, yeah, it's a decent receiver class, but that's not something we're going to spend pick 10 on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean that does shoehorn us to Baines, Bailey, or Mansour if we're only. But I don't know, man. Those guys are just like cornerbacks, edge rushers. If you can grab them, I'm not as hell bent. Well, part of it with linebacker too. I feel like these guys age out so fast too. Like,
well, we saw Wilson who retired officially, this week, which great career, some great memories here with the Bengals.
Yeah. Appreciate everything he did for us in that Super Bowl. A lot of good moments with them.
Yeah.
But Greg, you got any thoughts on Sonny Styles? And then I'll kind of parlay it and start with you with Arvell Reese. I think he's another guy who's off the board at 10. If he was there at 10, I'd consider him because I think maybe you're considering putting him at edge and he fills that position where this is a guy that can actually drop in coverage, who can actually come off the edge and provide juice. Not like what we're trying to do now where we're trying to make edges drop that really can't do it. And we're trying to make linebackers come down and rush the passer like Demetrius Knight, and they can't do that either. I think Reese could do both a lot better than anybody we have. So he should be in the conversation if he's on the board, not expected to be, though.
Yeah, but with Styles, if he's there, you have to take him. I mean, like I say, even if it was Bain, Styles, and Downs, if it was the Bengals, I think they would take Bain over Styles. I truly think they would. But I would not pass up Sonny Styles. He's just too valuable of a prospect to pass up. That's just my opinion now.
Early 2000 Bengals, we would take a linebacker in the first round.
Yes, we would. Keith Rivers and Ray. Yes, you're right.
I feel like fact. Greg's scenario, though, it might be Caleb Downs. in Greg's scenario when he said Baines, Downs, and Styles, and if it's there for the Bengals, I think the Bengals take Downs in that.
See, I'm down with that. That's like
I'm down with that too.
I
Want Downs.
I feel like safety is kind of a premium position if you're using them as like if you're using them right. You know what I mean?
Well, we got Brian Cook, who's a free safety, and then you got
Battle.
Caleb Downs, who is a strong safety. So you just signed Brian Cook for multi-years, and you bring in Caleb Downs, and then Jordan Battle's now the odd man out.
No, you can play. Can you play Downs and nickel though?
You can find roles for all these guys.
Sure.
You know, I think you can play 3 safety looks. You can play one down more in the slot at times. You can play one as an extra linebacker. There's a lot of things you can do with 3 safeties. Like,
I actually think it's becoming more important to have a 3 safety look in today's NFL because let's be honest, you're playing with the nickel all the time anyways, right? Like it's everybody. I mean, they're going back to the 12 personnel, but even then they're trying to like take advantage with like, numbers and then the tight ends being able to block and get out in routes. So if you have Downs that can kind of play like linebacker too, you can kind of keep him in on base downs and have him up on the line or guarding tight ends in those types of scenarios. If they do pop into like 11 personnel, he can guard a slot or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the team that just won the Super Bowl, man, their nickel corner is a safety.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Seattle kind of gave you a little bit of a secondary blueprint on like how to defend against, because against these types of teams that can do both. Like a lot of teams are multiple that can go to 12 and go back out to 11, and it just offenses are always looking to take advantage of the numbers and those mismatches. The more and more you can reduce those mismatches by versatile players like a Downs, it just benefits your defense so much, so.
And we're just going to, we're going to talk about all these different linebacker prospects, guys I got in the Project Game Day draft guide. Yeah. Kind of the order I have them in. You guys obviously all can disagree with the order and where you take these guys. I'm not,
Let me just point out too real quick, Dale, like if you want to see the order, also you got your latest article on Cincy Jungle. I don't know if it's your latest one, but you list your top 300. Really good article, a lot of information.
I just did a linebacker article. I haven't even looked to see if they posted that. I did that 2 days ago as well, my top 10 linebackers. So you should be able to get that there with some of my clips. That probably on Cincy Jungle, I would imagine they posted that by now because I did it a couple days ago. Knowing we were going to do this show too, I thought it would tie it nicely. So you guys can check that out on Cincy Jungle as well, along with clips of all these players, especially the top 10 that we're talking about, but we'll go beyond. The third guy I have is CJ Allen. I think he's worthy of a first-round pick, but probably in the 20s, the back end of the first round. Could he slide to the second round? Maybe. But, I mean, this is a guy, reliable tackler, 7.8% missed tackle rate this season, 20 pressures in 24, so it's a guy you can bring on the blitz. He can do those things, get pressure on the quarterback. He doesn't even turn 21 until this month. Like he's just turning 21. Maybe his birthday's already happened, but it's March. So he was a guy. Yeah, happy birthday, right? Happy birthday to CJ Allen and everyone.
Happy birthday, CJ Allen.
You best buds or what?
We got the same first initial, CJ. I mean,
but he's already played 3 years at Georgia. Like he was starting as a true freshman there. 3 years experience. He was doing this at 18, 19, and 20 years old. At Georgia, playing at a high level. Mm-hmm. He gets lost in the mix with these guys, but most years, this would be your clear linebacker one. Like, he's an absolute stud. He's had to improve in coverage. That's something that he was not very good at, especially in 24. I thought he looked better in 25, but I still wouldn't say that's a huge strength of his game. This is a guy who's just reliable. He's got good speed. You can blitz him. Like, he is just a really good linebacker that you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to put him on the edge. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. No, this is your guy you put in the middle of your defense and let him go make plays. And he said that he pretty much called the Georgia defense this year. Like the coach gave him the freedom to let him call the defense based on what he's seeing. So you're talking about high level IQ there with that guy. I think CJ Allen is an absolute stud. It's just, I wouldn't take him at 10. But if this guy fell to the second round, holy shit, that would be a dream pick for me at pick 41, CJ Allen, all day long.
I think there's a chance, because we always think we talked about before, guys kind of squeak through, like, so example, if there's a run on like edges at some point and people feel like early in the second round that they're like, we got to get our edge now or they're going to be gone, that pushes players back. And if that pushes somebody like CJ Allen back, I'd be like, dude, sprint to the podium and get that pick in.
Probably a run on quarterbacks for pick 10.
Well, Dust, I was going to say it kind of backfired a little bit, but remember all those receivers, Corey Coleman, Laquan Treadwell. Now, William Jackson did work out for us for a year or two, but compared to those other receivers, that did not work out for those guys.
we pulled the rug from him at the right time. He went to the Commanders and just, it was a disaster.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So any other thoughts on CJ Allen, Chop, Greg? Is that a guy, like where would you
I'll be honest,
think about him?
I didn't look into him too much, Dale, because the way you kind of had him ranked, it was like, I don't know if he's going to be there in the second round, but so I didn't want to read into him too much. But man, the way you described him, if he's there, you definitely have to consider him in the second round. But like I said, just the way you had him ranked doesn't seem like, I don't know if they'll even make it out of the first round. Is that a fair statement?
Well, one team that I thought, there's a couple teams. So Dallas has 2 picks. They pick at 20. Their pick at 20, I think CJ Allen be a great pick for them because I can't see them getting a linebacker at 12. They are in desperate need of linebackers. So, like, it makes a lot of sense for him to go there at 20. Broncos was another team I thought, but they traded their pick for Jalen Waddle. Like, I thought, if he makes it to the Broncos, they'll snag him in the first. So that's kind of one less team if Dallas don't take him. There is a world he gets to the second round, but I think if he does, it's going to be a lot of teams looking to take that guy early in the second round, like right away, or trade up to take him. Like, I think he's that talented if he falls to the second.
And the Chiefs pick right before us in the second round too, and they have a hole at linebacker because Leo Chanel's over at Washington.
Yeah, and then the next guy I have this ranked, and a lot of these guys I have, like, those are kind of my first round type of guys that could go in the first. Those 3: Styles, Reese, and Allen. Then my second/third round guys, more second, probably where they're going. I got Anthony Hill Jr., Jacob Rodriguez, Josiah Trotter, and Jake Golday. Like, I think those 4 are kind of in that next group there for the next round. I'll start with Anthony Hill Jr. He's not for everybody, but he was way more impressive athlete than I think a lot of people thought, with a 9.93 relative athletic score. Another guy who just turned 21 years old. You talk about a guy that can rush off the edge. A lot of people thought he might transition to edge. 17 sacks in his 3 years at Texas. Like, he played as a true freshman. He had 5 sacks as a true freshman, 8 as a sophomore, 4 this year as a true junior. He's got a few interceptions. Coverage, once again, not his strength, but downhill thumper. A guy you can legitimately put on the edge. Like, you can put him on the edge on third down and let him rush the passer off the edge. So I like Anthony Hill, 6'2", 238, really good size, physical. He's my next guy on the list. So let's talk about Hill before we get into Rodriguez. Any thoughts on Hill from you guys?
Have we been linked to him at all? Because I feel like the profile of him really kind of feels like it fits with like what Al Golden would want from this next linebacker. But I just haven't seen any links to him. But yeah, to your point, like, if you watch,
happy birthday, Crip. Sorry.
Yeah, he was active.
Oh, happy birthday.
He's he's of any of the tape, man. Like, he's like one of the more active linebackers you can watch. Like, he's just all over the place. You know what I mean? And I just kind of feel like he has more room for growth too. So yeah, I like him a lot.
I'll tell you what, man. You asked me, my thing is that my question with Anthony Hill Jr. and also my question with our next linebacker, Jacob Rodriguez, is what I was going to ask is, Dale, you tell me the difference between one of those guys and CJ Allen.
I don't know, man. I think CJ Allen's been more productive. He's more of the guy who called. I think Rodriguez is a leader too, so I can't say that compared to Rodriguez. But also, like, I think he has better instincts than Hill. Hill's kind of in the middle of Rodriguez and Allen, who I think both have much better true instincts. That's the one part of Hill's game that I don't love. Is his instincts as a linebacker to read the play and go make the play quickly.
Yeah. He relies upon his speed and physicality less upon his instincts. And you kind of got to be instinctive in the NFL. So that's a good call out, to be honest.
Yeah, but he also provides so much more as a pass rusher, can play the edge than those guys, and that's why he's still, up there in between them. Completely different players, though, right? But you're talking like instincts. I think Rodriguez, who we're getting into, and we can get into him now.
Yeah.
I mean, won the Benerick Award, best defense player in college football. Ton of forced fumbles. I think had 7 this year. Bunch of interceptions. Like, he's just a playmaker.
He's
and
a quarterback too, right?
Yeah, he was a quarterback, I believe, in high school. So, a guy that reads the defense well, instinctive, knows how to make plays.
Also very athletic too.
And all these guys are in my top 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Hill and Rodriguez aren't too far apart. Allen, I've got higher. I think Rodriguez a bit older than these other two guys. That's maybe why he's 5th instead of 3rd or 4th too. And you could say, oh, age don't matter. Blah, blah, blah. I get that, but it's part of the evaluation for me. You know what I mean? If a guy has been doing this at 18 and 19 years old in the SEC versus a guy who's doing it at 23 in the Big 12, I'm going to go with the 20-year-old in the SEC.
Well, it is the highest level of competition in college football.
Yeah, and the Big 10. Come on.
Yeah, this is what I would say about Jacob Rodriguez is that this is the guy I'm talking about when I say I feel like there's more value at pick 41 with linebacker than at pick 10 with Sonny Styles. This is the dude I'm talking about. I watched, so I'm not a big film watcher, but I did watch some last night on CJ Allen. I watched it on Anthony Hill. I watched it on Jacob Rodriguez. And, man, this dude's a badass, very athletic, a leader on the field. I think that he would improve our defense. This is the guy that in many of the different scenarios I have of who I take in the first round when I do mocks, this is my guy at pick 41.
Yeah, and I get it because like if Allen falls, that's great too. But Anthony Hill could legitimately be there, and I think Rodriguez could legitimately be there at 41.
I like Rodriguez over Hill at 40. If it's me,
fair.
at 41.
Yeah, I'm with you on this, Dale. It's one of those things like Big 12 defenders. It's like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like, I like them. Skills translate. Very instinctive. Production always is a good measuring point for anybody. But again, the concern you're playing against such a different caliber of like linemen, the guards that you're taking on, the speed, the violence is just that would be my concern. Still love him as a prospect, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But thanks, boys. Sorry, I got to hop off early today. Got some work stuff, so I appreciate it.
All right, brother.
Yeah,
no worries.
Priorities.
Yeah, you guys have a good weekend. Thanks,
right,
Bruce.
Take it easy.
Yeah, bye.
So I would also say with Rodriguez, 6'1", 231. So he doesn't have the greatest size. CJ Allen a little smaller too. That's something Anthony Hill has on both of those guys. He's a lot bigger, a lot thicker. Styles bigger as well. Reese bigger as well. So when we're talking about my top 5 linebackers, but Greg, your thoughts on Hill, Rodriguez, either of those guys?
So Rodriguez, tell me about 15 point, because you've stated usually you try to get 10% or less. 2 things that just kind of caught my attention on the cons. 15.1% missed tackle, and he's an older prospect, not too old though, right? Not like how old is he?
Yeah. No, this guy. I mean, he's probably 23.
Okay. So he's not 25. He's not up there with what's his name, Carter. Okay, but the 15.1 missed per tackle rate. Like, how concerned would you be? Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it's part of it, right? When you're talking about a guy that's 6'1", 230, I don't think he's missing these tackles because of his instincts and being in the right position. You're talking about length to wrap guys up. You're talking about the size to bring guys down once you're there. So that's why it becomes a bit concerning along with that rate. I don't think it's horrible, but it is something for a team that's missed tackles that I think could be something that he has to also worry about at the next level.
No. I mean, hey, we take him in the second round. Yeah, I will not complain about that. I've heard good reviews about him as well. I just want to get some more input on the cons right there.
No, I like it, man. It's good conversation to go through, and this is a position that we think the Bengals could add to their room, and we're going to do a lot of other positions too. But the next guy, Josiah Trotter. So you're talking about thick. This is your classic downhill thumper. His dad's Jeremiah. His brother is Jeremiah Jr. Plays for the Eagles. His dad also played for the Eagles. Maybe he'll end up there as well.
Sounds like it.
6'2", 237. He's got good range as a run defender, 89.8 run defense grade. He's physical, reliable tackler. You like all those things. I thought he'd go back to school because he's only a redshirt sophomore.
Oh, wow.
He had an injury as a freshman. He was at West Virginia, so he didn't play as a true freshman. He redshirted that season. The next season, he starts at West Virginia, has 92 tackles, an interception, half a sack, shows what he can be. Gets an offer to transfer over to the SEC with Missouri, and no drop in his play. 84 tackles, 2 sacks, and just a guy who is fantastic against the run. Like, he will attack the run. He's physical when he arrives. There's a lot to like with him as that pure downhill thumper, tone setter from like your middle linebacker position. Yeah. But he's got a lot of work to do in coverage. He's not a very good coverage guy. And compared to a lot of these other guys, he's a little more inexperienced because, like I said, he was just a redshirt sophomore. He had the 2 seasons of playing time coming to the NFL. I still think he could go before the end of the second round, but it's a guy I would probably lean like maybe he goes in the third. You feel better about taking him.
Yeah.
But a good, solid player whose best football is probably still ahead of him with how young he is.
Yeah.
He sucks in coverage. That's all I could say. Like, I'm looking at your draft guide right now, 84.4% completion rate against this dude. So I don't know how you come out. Like, can you get better, like a lot better than that once you go to the NFL?
You can get better, but I don't think it'll ever be a strength of his, right? Like, it's just one of those things, like the lateral agility, the stuff like that to put, hey, Kevin and the Blue Jackets, man. The Blue Jackets are on a heater. They are officially in a playoff spot. Since they traded coaches, they've only lost like 2 games and won like 17, and then, overtime of like 4 games that they lost in, but you still get a point for that. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, they are on a roll, and it's awesome to see. But the next guy is Greg Cincinnati Bearcat, Jake Golday, 6'4", 239. Originally at like Central Arkansas. I think he came in, he was only like 190 pounds, so he's added a lot of weight. He rushed off the edge there when he was at Central Arkansas. Been on Cincinnati the last 2 seasons, 9.84 relative athletic score. Second season as a starter for Cincinnati. He's really good in coverage. I didn't like the way Cincinnati used him as with his size and as a linebacker. They almost split him out in the slot, so it's really weird when you're watching his tape. But he's a damn good football player, highly athletic, 77.5 coverage grade. And like, he's long and he can stick with these tight ends, these bigger receivers. I like Jake Golday. I think he does go in the second round. It's hard for me when the Colts have their first pick in the second round not to take Jake Golday in the second round for them. Like, I think Lou will love this guy.
Yeah. Now, am I wrong to say this a little bit? Not always as physical. Is this kind of like looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane, or is that too much of an overstatement?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I'd just say the way Cincinnati used him, that they didn't do him any favors. Okay. But I think he can do a little bit of everything.
No, because it seems like, thing is, I should be happy about this, but it seems like he's got a big floor. It just seems like he's still been a little bit of work in progress. Just the way how you kind of, am I wrong? You can tell me to shut the fuck up if you want me to.
No, I think he's going to be a guy that comes in and starts, and I think used as a true linebacker, but using him to his strengths, letting him rush the pass, letting him do a little bit of everything, not having him split out in the slot. It was weird usage. I didn't understand that, but letting him play more like a true linebacker or a guy that you put on the edge and blitz a little more often than what Cincinnati did. I think he's going to be good in the NFL. I think he's going to be better in the NFL than he was at Cincinnati by far, because all the talent's there.
Right.
And I think you'll see it early. It's just Cincinnati used him weird. They used him wrong.
You said you like Jake Golday in the second round, but do you like Jake Golday at pick 41? In the second round?
I wouldn't be opposed to it, honestly, because I don't think we have that guy. Like, we got decent athletes with Knight and Carter, but this guy is an excellent athlete, and he's a guy that you could put on that edge to rush the passer. And I think he's going to be better in coverage than either of those guys. So to me, he's a better player and prospect than both of those by far. So if we took him at 41 and it meant he's getting playing time over, we'll say Barrett Carter specifically, then I think we did a good job because I think we upgraded at linebacker.
It sounds like he's sort of in that Sonny Styles range. He's got the perfect size, perfect RAS score. Is he kind of sort of in the Sonny Styles range a little bit?
The weird thing is I didn't get to see him play like middle linebacker because of the way Cincinnati used him. So I know with Styles how much he progressed and the way he was able to read the offense, see what's coming, be in position. And Golday is coming from the outside too much and using his athleticism more than the instinct. So
and work ethic. Hey, you work ethic is something you don't teach. That's something I mean, you can push a player all you want, but work ethic is something that's building yourself pretty much. So that's something you can't teach either.
I see he's got 5 sacks in 24 games too, right? Yeah, 5 sacks in 24 games that he played at Cincinnati.
Yeah, and I think he rushed more at Central Arkansas, which obviously it's a lower level of competition, but still he's shown he can do that. Drew Garrison said he tried to super chat, telling you guys to take your pants off. It wouldn't let him.
Oh man, Greg, take your pants off here anyway for free.
I did not get to watch the Kentucky game, Crip, but I got to see the ending like after it happened. I seen it was in overtime. I'm like, what the hell? I kind of forgot all about it, to be honest. Now we're getting into the next row of guys, which I've got like 3rd/4th round guys, but Kyle Lewis, Jason Barham, which a lot of people are going to have an edge, and he probably is an edge, but I've got him listed with the linebackers. Torian York, Deontay Lawson. Kyle Lewis, 6 foot 220, Pittsburgh. He may ultimately be like a star/safety, slot corner type of guy. I don't know if he sticks as a true linebacker, but this dude's an absolute playmaker. Just over the last 2 seasons, he has 182 tackles, 6 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 10 sacks. He's a playmaker. You know what I mean? So I love Kyle Lewis, not the biggest size, good enough athlete with the 8.64 RAS, 13.2 missed tackle rate for his career, but only 10.9 in 25. He's trending in the right direction. Probably not a guy as a linebacker you put in there that holds up well against the run because of that size. That's the only thing that knocks him down a little bit. But he's excellent in coverage. He's an excellent blitzer. He's a football player. You find a spot for guys like that on your team, and you profit and you benefit because of it.
Yeah, Dale, if this guy was like, 6'3", this guy would be in first-round conversation, right?
I mean, yeah. If he was, we'll say 6'2" and 235, you know what I mean? Like, but that's just not who he is. And Drew Garrison here, super chat, we thank you, sir. And he says, Michigan man, Jason Barham.
Jason Barham.
His next up.
No, Dale, I was impressed with him. The only thing that just scared me away was his undersized. But dude, the numbers don't lie, buddy. Like you just pointed out, the numbers don't lie. I mean, the guy's got a work ethic. He clearly doesn't let his size get to him or anything. Like I say, the only thing that just scared me was his size. I always hate to do that to a player, but if we took him in the 3rd round, what would your reaction be?
Hell yeah, let's go. We got a football player. We got a hell of a football player. And he could go even earlier in the 3rd. Like if somebody takes him in the 2nd. And I think, once again, even though he played linebacker, Eman Wari at South Carolina played safety. This is a guy you're talking about that can do that similar role to what he did with the Seahawks. Like, he's not quite the athlete Nick Eman Wari with a perfect RAS score was, but he's a very good athlete. He's very instinctive. He's very good in coverage, sticky in coverage. He's just a playmaker and high effort guy. Like there's the one play, the guy looks like he's going to 30 yards downfield, big play. I think it was a tight end. He runs in, rips the ball out, picks it up, returns it like 30 yards. Like he's a nonstop effort. Like that's just who he is. He's a playmaker. So love Kyle Lewis from Pittsburgh.
No, you sold me on him there. I mean, that's awesome right there. I guess the only downside is that's not a guy you want to try to have to tackle Derrick Henry, right?
I mean, he'll try. He'll put
Okay,
the
he'll
effort
try.
in.
If
And
he
you're
tries,
talking
I don't give a
220,
shit.
you know what I mean? You're not talking 170. You're not talking like these super small corners. But yeah, I mean, it's probably still at the same point in time not what you want. And he could get swapped, like more so than just Derrick Henry in general. He could get swallowed up by like the guard that's climbing to the second level to block him because he is undersized and that guard is so much bigger that then allows the running back to kind of get around him. You know what I mean? It's not about like that initial take on, but it's like you're going against 6'5", 330-pound offensive guard that's coming up to the second level. And then Barham, 6'3", 240. He's played a lot of linebacker, but this year Michigan used him on the edge more. He ended up with 4 sacks on the season. He's just a damn good pass rusher. I do think he's more of an edge than a linebacker, but if Lou wants that role that he was trying to force Knight into, where a guy can easily drop into coverage because he's played a lot of linebacker, originally at Maryland, transferred to Michigan for the last couple seasons, 2 at Maryland, 2 at Michigan. He's played a ton of football. I like him as just a pure pass rusher.
Yeah, but this is a guy also, man. I mean, 5.9 missed tackle rate. This guy doesn't miss tackles, does he? Even as a pass rusher, right? I mean,
No.
but like you said, the edge thing. So, do you personally believe that a team would use him as a full-time edge rusher? Because that caught my attention a little bit, right?
I do think that a team could do that, but I think even if you are, so many teams drop these guys into coverage, right? That are their full-time edge guys. I mean, we saw Joseph Osai, Miles Murphy. We saw all these guys dropping in coverage.
yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Ray Henderson.
Now, if this guy is playing edge almost full-time per se, but you're still going to ask him to drop in coverage at times, you feel a lot better about a player like this.
Yeah, I feel like maybe this is, I don't know, he kind of reads a little bit like second-round Arvell Reese. You know, he plays the edge really good. He's a linebacker. He's hybrid. But I'm not sure what Al Golden's going to think about the coverage skills.
Right.
You know what I mean? He wants a versatile piece that can play a bunch of different things, and I got to figure that that's going to be someone with a mix of both, you know, that can play in coverage and maybe get after the pass.
Yeah. And next is Torian York. So 5'11", 226. We'll start there. But he was lightly recruited. You know, he's like a 3-star guy coming out of high school. And I love the stories like that, you know, because it shows the work ethic. Yeah. So it's like very late in the cycle, Texas A&M offers him a contract, or basically they are contracts now, but offers him a scholarship, and he decides to take it, go to Texas A&M, one of the last guys to join their recruiting class. So it's like, oh, you know, you're just kind of a guy we tossed in late, but hey, you're at a big program instead of a smaller school you were probably going to sign with. He immediately becomes the starter as a true freshman. You know, so 3 straight years, he's a starter there, highly productive. He can blitz a little bit, reliable tackler, team captain, leader, work ethic, all those things, you know, that sound like fluff and BS. We know it matters, right? Like the Bengals, they get on that kick where they want captains. That was something with Logan Wilson that they loved. And, well, we needed that. You know, at the end was the end. But, you know, when he first got here, that was the guy who did so great for a 3rd-round pick. I think York would be that kind of guy. It's his instincts. He's not the greatest athlete. He doesn't have the greatest size. It's just all these things. But it's like, I'm going to work harder than everybody, and I'm going to try harder than everybody when I'm out there. And he finds a way to get things done. I think at worst, you take this guy in the 3rd, 4th round, you got a great special teamer early, and he starts working his way in for snaps.
Yeah, I mean, it was similar to the Pittsburgh guy, right? Pretty much. Just if it wasn't for the size, this guy could also be in the conversation. Yep, right? Is that same deal?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, but it's like the size is the size. It is what it is, and that's why they're. You know,
No, Dale. Like he definitely caught my attention when you said he's a sleeper. I mean, like he's got all those traits you want. You know, team captain. Bengals value team captains, by the way. So I could totally see this guy for us in the 3rd. I would not bitch if we got him in the 3rd round.
Greg, I'm surprised you didn't see it because I think the little feller sounds a lot like Ivan Pace from Cincinnati, who went undrafted, you know, a couple years ago. And then he went out to Minnesota that first year, man, and he balled out. But he was a little feller, just like this guy.
Didn't they release Ivan Pace? Is Ivan Pace still on the Vikings?
Yeah, he's still on there.
Okay.
I think they tendered him. Like, he could have maybe went elsewhere, but they gave him a fairly high tender. So he's still there.
Yep.
Why not? Hey, Chop, let's do it.
I mean, he ain't my pick.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he sounds somewhat like that undersized, nose for the ball, good instincts, tenacity. Sounds a lot like, I mean, it just reminds me of the conversations that we had about Ivan Pace, who went undrafted, by the way.
And I had him as a 3rd/4th round guy, just like I have York. So I view them similar in that regard of guys who I probably value higher than the NFL.
Right.
Just based on what I watched. Deontay Lawson, 6'3", 226, Alabama. 5th-year guy. That size worries me at 226 for him. And at one point over the summer, he's like 218. He's had some injuries. He had some injuries, especially last year. But a really good run defender. Really quick to read and react, to get to the football. He's not the greatest in coverage. I do think he's improved in that area. I feel like he's a good athlete on tape. I don't know if he tested or what he would test that. But yeah, he's your green dot guy. He's your leader. He's the guy you want at linebacker in that aspect to get guys lined up, tell them where to be, call the plays. But the coverage is a big concern. The size, the disengaging from blocks from the bigger linemen. So it's a guy that I think he probably ends up on day 3. Like, he's in my last guy in the 3rd/4th column here, but I think he's a day 3 guy, and fourth round, probably the earliest you start to consider this guy, especially with the injuries. Next is a guy I kind of feel better about. Maybe I should have him higher than Lawson. Like, it's tough. It's Caleb Elam's or from TCU. So I was late kind of getting to his tape, knowing about him. And when I watched it, I go, holy shit, this guy's really good. He was a Senior Bowl invite, so I hadn't really watched him. And I go and I watch him. I'm like, this guy's really good.
Yeah.
This was before the Senior Bowl happened. I'm like, I really like this guy. So 6'2", 234. Like, his production this year, 130 tackles, 4 sacks. Like, that is productive as can be from TCU. So 89.1 run defense grade. Like I mentioned, the sack production shows his ability to blitz. I think he covers well. Like, there's not a ton of weaknesses. Then he goes to the combine, a 9.92 relative athletic score, 7.1% missed tackle rate. And I'm going, I'm probably too low on this guy, right?
Like, what the hell? Yeah.
I know. It's like, if we took this guy in the 3rd round, and maybe I need to move him up. As I talk about him on here, maybe I need to move him up.
Sleeper alert.
Yeah,
I know. Sleeper. I'm like,
I have that on 3 or 4 players in the guide. So my write-up for him from the draft guide Chop has, and it does. Like, why I'm talking about him this way, I do feel that way. And if I put it, it's because this is a guy that I know that I'm probably too low on. I just don't have the balls, I guess, to put him higher, knowing he might go in the 4th round. To me, this is a guy that is a top 75 player at least. 75 talent based on his tape from this past season. He was incredible. He's aced the process with the Senior Bowl, the combine, everything he's done. He doesn't have a lot of ball production, one forced fumble for his career, 1 interception. So he's not creating the splash play production that a lot of these other guys are, but he's just a damn good football player. I really like him.
Well, you know what? That sounds like Brian Cook we got in here. It's not like he's a ball hawk and intercepting safety, but you know what? He's fucking solid. He's a very solid player. And so, Caleb, he's setting off them alarms for me. He sounds good. I feel like they'll probably he'll probably move up a little bit as we get closer to the draft.
Just because it's like one of those I want to put a stamp on this guy.
Baby steps.
And I'm just going to do it, and I do that. There's always 2 or 3. And a lot of times, that's why I put that sleeper alert on there, because this guy, I'm probably going to move up.
Yeah. I mean, reading about this guy gets me excited. And like you said, like some of the guys we already read about, this guy, the page that you wrote on him reads better than the previous, some of them.
Yeah. It probably just is my excitement a little bit, but you know what? It's my draft guide for Jerry.
That's right, George.
Yeah, Dale, I just looked at it, man. I mean, I wouldn't even bitch if this guy was taken to the 2nd round almost. I mean, Jesus Christ.
The next guy is the one that people want to call Sonny Styles Light because he's 6'5", 242. Now, I don't think he tested anything like him. I don't have those numbers in front of me. But a lot of experience, played a lot of safety at Oklahoma State, was at Oklahoma State for 4 years. Then he transfers to Oklahoma. And they use him more in the role I think he's going to be in the NFL, where he's more of a linebacker, but he's got the versatility to drop in coverage. He's another player that I like quite a bit. Like 23 pressures in 2024. Then this year he has a 79.2 coverage grade. He's got the ability to get after the quarterback and rush the passer, as evidenced in 2024 when he had 5.5 sacks. And he'll knock the piss out of someone. Now, if Drew Garrison's still in the chat, I'm sorry, buddy, but he absolutely destroyed a Michigan player this year out in the flat. Like, he demolished him. So he's one of those that heat-seeking missile. I like him, man, because I think you can use him in so many roles, and I think he'll be a valuable special teams guy at worst. Doesn't have a ton of ball production with interceptions. And I put lacks ideal speed. He probably ran, and I had put that already. Get over it. Sorry, Drew. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. It's just true. Drew. It's something when I watched that, clipped that up, I was like, holy shit, he killed this guy. Yeah, right. I don't remember who it was. But yeah, so 47940, like right here. So Brian, I appreciate you, man. Deep Fried Draft on Twitter, Draft Countdown, man. Check out all the great stuff Brian does. But 1-7, 10-yard split, 47940, 29.5 vertical jump, and 437 short shuttle.
Wow.
So not the greatest athlete, but he's just a good ball player. Oh, man. And Drew said he was distracted because his coach was bopping his Bologna.
Bologna.
Yeah, you got to say Bologna.
The Bologna pony.
But, yeah, Kendall Daniels, good player. Yeah, 4.79 RAS, not great. Yeah. So he didn't help himself there, but I still think he's a guy that can help a football team. Day 3 guy for sure. Keyshawn Elliott, this is a guy who I think is State Brugler way higher on in his top 100. 6'2", 231. He's got good pursuit speed, had 7 sacks, 79.3 run defense grade. The grades look good, but 47.9 in coverage, 19.1 career missed tackle rate. I don't think he's the greatest athlete. 31.25 inch arm length. There's just a lot that left me underwhelmed with Keyshawn Elliott. Like, he didn't stand out like a lot of these other linebackers. Like, he's okay, but he didn't excite me.
Yeah, he's not making it wiggle for me either. Like I said, man, that coverage thing, that's a big thing for me. I think Al Golden's looking for someone that's going to be better in coverage.
Now we're getting into guys who are in like round 5-6 range. For me, they may be higher for others, especially Pork Chop, number 1 in his heart, coming up.
Yeah, there's still a first rounder coming up.
Bryce Betcher from Oregon, 6'1", 233. I think good athlete, 2-sport athlete, drafted by the Astros 13th round in 2024. Good awareness instincts. I think this is a good, solid special teams guy at worst. Good player. Doesn't excite me. Just is what it is. I don't think he's the fastest guy. I don't think he's the most physical guy. So don't love him. Harold Perkins, next guy on my list, 6'1", 223. What's his position? No one knows.
Badass. That's what his position is. He is the defensive badass.
Red Murdoch, also in this group, 6'2", 232, the 17 career force fumbles, over 300 tackles the last 2 years, 91.3 run defense grade, high effort player. Also not the greatest athlete, and he did play in the MAC, so you got to take that with a grain of salt, man. You just have to.
But he's a punisher, Dale. I like the word punisher.
You're not wrong. And then Aiden Fisher from Indiana, national champion, 6'1", 232, highly productive, high effort guy. Team captain, leader, can bring some pressure as a blitzer, also limited in coverage, and allowed a 75% completion rate against this past season. Don't love that. So that's the guys in the next category. And then there's one more category I want to get to. But who are your guys from this group? Bryce Betcher, Harold Red Murdoch, and Aiden Fisher, you guys want to talk about?
Let me think about this for a second, Dale, and see if I can pick me out a linebacker out of the group you just said. Boom, I got it. Harold Perkins Jr. This guy's
shocked.
Dude, for 4 fucking years. Mark my words, no matter what team he goes to in the NFL, he will be a difference maker and a problem on the defense for those opposing teams. But I'm going to tell you this. I put it in our group chat this morning, right? I put your guide statistics from Harold Perkins Jr. and another linebacker that's in this draft. And I said A or B. All I did was put it up. You got one linebacker with 113 solo tackles. The other one has 131. But then you go to assisted, 107 to 113. Tackles for loss, 35.5 with Harold Perkins Jr. This other linebacker that I'm comparing him to, 22.5 tackles for loss. The other linebacker has 9 sacks. Harold Perkins has 17. Both these players also 4 games. Interceptions for Harold Perkins Jr., 5. Interceptions for this other player, 1. Guess who the other player is that I compared him to? Fucking Sonny Styles. And everybody picked Harold Perkins Jr. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say we should take Harold Perkins Jr. over Sonny Styles in round 1. That's ridiculous. He's had some bad years. I'm just saying, this dude's a badass. He's got a nose for the football. He's got a very high football IQ, and he's going to be a piece. And if we get him, nobody fucking call me for 2 weeks because I'm going to be out of commission for 2 weeks if we get him. I'm so excited about this guy.
Now he's cooking me? David said you're cooking me.
Yeah, you're getting cooked. He wore the number 7, which is an award at LSU by 2 players that are just incredible. And I get it with his size. It's like, where does he belong in the NFL? But I think if anybody can find a spot for him, it's Al Golden. This is a guy that can watch Lamar Jackson run around and then make him pay for it. So I'm high on Harold Perkins Jr. I'm the one person in Cincinnati that won't be mad if for some reason at pick 10 they take a guy ahead of where he should be and go and pick Harold Perkins Jr.
Pick 10? You have.
I won't be mad, Dale.
All right, so there's all the positives. Now let me talk about some of the negatives.
Oh, there is none, Dale. Shut up.
Coverage grade this season. 18.8% missed tackle rate for his career. Almost 20% missed tackle rate. I don't think he reads and reacts as a linebacker. His instincts are not there. Originally was on the edge. Originally a running back in high school. I get that. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't know where he is, as a player. And I worry about the durability at 220 if you are going to try to continue to make him a linebacker. I mean, can he play? I don't think he's got the coverage to play in that star position, that slot type corner, big nickel spot. I don't think he's got the coverage ability for it. So I can't be higher on him. I wish I could, Chop. I tried for you, but I'm just not there with him. Now, I love the athleticism. He's a freaky athlete. But he didn't even test at the combine. And it's like, that was one of the most disappointing. I'm like, I just can't.
I was so upset he didn't test at the combine.
Greg, who do you like? And I know it's probably Red Murdoch.
Yeah. Punishing tackler, production machine, was 300 tackles, quick to diagnose, react, 91.3 defense grade, nonstop motor. But I look at the cons here. 2 things that stood out to me in the cons. 62.4 coverage grade in 2024, but he's improved that this year in 2025 at 86.5. 12.6 missed tackle rate for his career, but only 9.4 this year. So that tells me right there, he's just getting better and better. Now, I know you're going to throw out Buffalo. Did that seem to – I'm not saying he's going to – I know it's 1 in a million, but look at Khalil Mack, man. He went to Buffalo. It didn't seem to hurt his career at all. But I'm just saying, Dale, I look at the negatives right there. Even though you said his career was bad, this year alone – now, if it was a year ago, I could understand that. But this year he was better than both those. So that's
it's really just the athleticism and the level of competition.
Yeah, I know.
And how much does it translate? It's like I remember when we took Paul Dawkins out of TCU, and
oh God,
not even saying that was Buffalo competition, but what I'm saying is he was a guy who didn't have necessarily the athleticism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that pick. I ain't gonna lie, I thought this was complete.
I was excited
at the end of the third with the comp pick. I was like, oh, I love this Paul Dawson pick. That's our next perfect.
Yes,
completely flamed out in the NFL. So I think because I've been way higher on Murdoch. You know this. 17 forced fumbles. Like, he's tenacious. He's a dog. I love a lot about him. But why he's lower is that level of competition and the athleticism, foot speed, a little heavy-footed, not as quick up on his toes to react. And to me, I'm like, I guess I have Paul Dawson in my head, and I'm like, he played in a better level of competition in college. So I'm a little concerned in that aspect. But here's a guy, if he ends up being a really good NFL player, it wouldn't shock me.
Right.
Like, it wouldn't, because he just 17 forced fumbles NCAA record. Like, he is an absolute, when he arrives with bad intentions.
No, dude, what's his motive? But here's the thing. If we get him in the later rounds, I don't see a role for him on special teams because of his bad athleticism, though, right? Because when you get
you can still, like, can you, okay, you're running you're not having to do as much lateral stuff when you're on special teams. You're running in a straight line trying to get that guy.
All right.
You know what I mean? Because that's where, like, the coverage grade was better this year, but you still see that. Like, I don't think he was asked to cover that as much.
No, dude.
Probably why the grade was
like I say, I just look at I try to look at the negatives like, okay, are these fixable? And it seems like it's getting fixed easily and all that. But like I say, there's motor and just it's like another perfect. I don't know.
And then the last group of linebackers I have here, Wade Woodez from Clemson, Lander Barton from Utah, Jack Kelly from BYU, and Eric Gentry from USC. And I know a couple people talked about Kelly and Gentry specifically. But Woodez, 6'3", 236, played some safety even as a freshman. I think he's versatile. Clemson fans hated this guy. They think he's trash. But I'm like, there's still something there with this guy. Is coming off an injury, shoulder surgery into the season toward the end of the year. So that's something to monitor. High missed tackle rate in 24. So that's why he's as low as he is. Lander Barton, 6'5", 233. A lot of people thought this could be a day 2 pick last year. Highly athletic, but every year I thought he got a little worse. Like, he went from having 4.5 sacks as a freshman to 0 sacks the following year, 2, and then 1.5. So it's like, that's kind of what made him fun, was that, ability to get after the quarterback. Decent in coverage with his length. A decent athlete, but not great. Way too many missed tackles. Doesn't shed blocks as well as he should. Then Jack Kelly, who Nostradamus absolutely loves, so I'll talk about him. 6'2", 240. Surprised the hell out of me with his athleticism. I probably need to go back and watch more of him, Nostradamus, to be fair. And maybe before the draft next month, he does end up higher for me if I really like, okay, here was his best game. Let me watch it. Here's how he can shine. But great sack. I mean, this guy had 10 sacks this season. So you just look at the numbers, you're going, holy shit, 10 sacks? Most edge rushers don't have 10 sacks. So he provides that with that 9.83 relative athletic score. 128 pressures for his career, so he gets after it. The athleticism is there, shows up in the sideline-to-sideline range as a linebacker. And he's just – he will compete his ass off. Now, he played at Weber State, however you say that, prior to 2024. The missed tackles is probably one of the biggest reasons I'm lower on him. 22.4% this year. And then the coverage, 60.7 grade. He's a good athlete, but the lateral agility shows up in coverage. And then I don't think he sheds blocks for a guy at 6'2", 240 as well as he should when offensive linemen climb to the second level.
Sounds like a rotational piece.
But highly productive.
Yeah.
He may outplay the hell out of where I have him. He may go higher. But the missed tackle rate and stuff's concerning. But 10 sacks is 10 sacks for anybody.
That's true.
So Jack Kelly is intriguing, Nostradamus, for sure. The other intriguing guy is Eric Gentry. 6'7", 6'7".
Jesus Christ.
But he's 221 pounds.
God dang, he's thin.
At 6'7".
Man.
Like, this is why, but he's intriguing because I think he can. I would put 15 to 20 more pounds on this guy if it the frame suggests he can do that, and I would put him on the edge.
Yeah.
I would have him like the Booker kid that went to Chicago. That would be what I don't think you should just keep this kid at linebacker. It's just odd. And he played at USC, so he played some good competition in the Big Ten, Chop.
Man, and he could bat some balls down, couldn't he? I mean, the guy's reaching about 20 foot in the air.
Yes. So he bats down passes. He's got a great wingspan. And I think you can bring him off the edge. And he is a pretty agile athlete for a guy with that kind of height. There's a lot to like with Eric Gentry, but I can't personally get past 221. That is such an at 6'7". That is such an outlier. We're talking about Kyle Lewis being 220 pounds, Greg, that I love. But this guy is like 6 foot. This guy is 7 inches taller in the same weight.
We'll be fine, Dale. Bring him down to the Project Game Day tailgate, and we'll put some weight on him every single home game. Like, all this dude needs to do is eat some peanut butter and jelly. Like, he sounds pretty good. Like, if this guy, you got this guy, like, what do you got him? 6 or 7? Yeah. So, hell yeah, this is a guy in the 6-7 round that you take a flyer on. This is just the kind of guy that you want. You know, someone that could have a lot of upside.
Well, there's also, he took a redshirt season last year after playing in 5 games. It says 5 games, but it's probably like 4 games, because I think that's to get a red shirt, or he got the medical clearance.
Okay.
But he had a series of concussions. So like that part of it also factors in with being 220 and why I have him where I have him. So even though he's very intriguing, I don't disagree with Brian Bosarch, who was in the chat earlier.
Yeah.
He's an intriguing prospect. And if I wanted to convert him to edge, it intrigues me. I think he could do it. Like, I think he could be a full-time edge if he put on a little more weight. But the concussions and just that outlier, and haven't seen him as a full-time edge, it's a projection, right? So projection, guys, guess what? Your 6th round, 7th round is where I personally rank you.
Right. I like it. Hey, real quick, I know I'm going backwards, but I forgot to ask, like, Brian Bosarch put this up earlier when is this about Perkins? Because I was looking for his RAS score and I couldn't find it. All right.
No, it was about Kendall Daniels from Oklahoma, the 6'5", 241. That it was like, some people are like, oh, there's your Sonny Styles light because he's got the size.
His RAS
and he played safety and then more linebacker this year. So the safety linebacker conversion, the size, that stuff is similar. They're not in the same world as an athlete, overall athlete.
It's like regular full beer and non-alcoholic beer comparison. Like, okay, I get it. Like, it's not even light. It's like NA with that RAS, Like, not no knock on that dude, but come on, Sonny Styles. I mean, if we're going to compare one linebacker to Sonny Styles, I think I covered that already. We can move ahead.
Chop, you got work?
I do.
You suck, man.
You
ruined our opportunity to do a quick mock draft.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Greg can pull it up. He's on a computer.
I don't know how to.
Oh, you don't know how.
Hold on. Let me see if I can do it, Greg. Let me see if my internet will support this.
You going to do like all... Yeah, we tend to talk long. I was going to say maybe we could try to fit in 3, but we tend to, talk about the people. But anyway, so, yeah, if you're pulling that up.
Any other Bengals news, thoughts, anything else Bengals-wise while I'm trying to pull this?
Did you read Kelsey Conway's article at all today?
I did not, because it was behind a pay site, and guess what? I wasn't going to do that.
Oh, I have it.
All right, give us the highlights.
The highlight. All right, the highlights is we didn't get a linebacker. I'm just kidding. I skimmed through it. I mean, obviously the one that got the most attention is they want to extend both Dax and Turner. Doesn't mean they will.
Right.
Want to. But no, we need to have this discussion and all that and stuff. Me and Chop had a little discussion.
I want to fucking retire at 55 years old.
Yeah, but I mean,
doesn't mean I'm going to.
If we take a corner Paul, I think Paul Danger talked about this on his show also. we really don't have it. If Dax or DJ goes down, we're screwed at corner, right? I mean, all right, name our corners on the roster right now. What? Just behind those two.
I mean, Jalen Davis kind of starting slot. I still think you got to upgrade there. DJ Ivy's still around, right? And then after that, who else is on the roster?
Newton's
the one I was forgetting.
No, because the thing of it is, it's like, Paul Day and I agree with this. I want to improve our roster. I just don't know how drafting a corner at 10 doesn't mean we're improving, we're replacing, and all that.
Well,
stuff.
it's improving this year, and then next year they'll have to find out if they're going to sign both of them. But I'm telling you, like, if you're like Pork Chop, you have to bet your house on the position that the Bengals are going to pick and pick 10. I would pick corner. I think that they're going to pick corner.
Probably could be corner, Chop.
It's a premium position. The Bengals like premium positions. You got both your corners are due for contracts next year. It's such a Bengal thing to come in there. But to be honest, I get it. Everybody wants Caleb Downs. Everybody wants Reuben Bain. Everybody wants David Bailey, Sonny Styles. But don't be disappointed with Jermod McCoy. Don't be disappointed with my guy, Mansour Delane. Don't be disappointed because it's a fucking good piece. Both of those players are really good, and they're going to help our team in the future. And having them in the back also helps the front.
Well, you look at our fourth corner 2021, Eli Apple played a big role. Fourth corners play a shitload of snaps. And right now,
Mansour Delane and Jermod McCoy won't be.
No. Kelsey comment throughout this. Dale, Raziel Douglas from
Rasul
the Patriots.
Douglas. Yeah.
He was like the 10th ranked corner. I mean, why not try to sign him on a 1-year deal right now, right?
Absolutely. We talk about how much those guys get injured and how much you need depth there. So talk about it every year. And every year you end up needing it, right? Marco
our fourth corner, our fourth, 1 year they said Eli Apple was our fourth corner, played a big role going to the Super Bowl. 1 year it was Cam Taylor-Britt, who worked his way up. But 1 year it was DJ Turner. Your fourth corner plays a shitload of snaps, is the point they're making.
Yeah. Nostradamus asked about Patrick Payton, edge from LSU. Was at Florida State prior to this year. I love the 23 tape. When he had, who's the guy that went to the Rams? Really good edge rusher. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. When he had him opposite of, he just looked more explosive. And the last 2 years, he has not. So 2024 at Florida State this year. So I've got him as one of those 6th, 7th round type guys that you take late, and you hope you can find that 23 version of him, because that 23 version of him was a top 50 prospect. One of the most disappointing last 2 years for sure.
Yep. Fellas, with that, I'm going to let you guys
buddy.
do the mock draft and get out of here and get ready for work. And I feel confident you'll pick my boy Harold Perkins at 10.
We will.
Thank you.
Love
you,
John.
guys. Love you, everybody in the Brew Crew. Have a good weekend.
So I'm just doing a 3-round mock draft, so Harold Perkins has no chance as Chop leaves here. Fuzzy says, I really want to trade back Avion Terrell. I hear you, brother. Man, when we did that, I love that scenario. I don't think a lot of people do, but I love it because I would consider Terrell at 10. I've talked about that.
Right.
Won't do that a ton here. Going to switch back to the other screen. So, Greg, if there's comments, you can pop them up for me.
Mm-hmm. Here. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Delane, because I didn't want to read the corners because I wasn't thinking corner. If I know you Terrell, you like big difference between Delane and the Tennessee guy. Big difference. What's the difference? What's the cutting edge?
No, it's just that McCoy didn't play this season. His 24 tape, he's corner one all day long based on his 24 tape. But the ACL tear, he didn't play. People thought he could work his way back. He still has not worked out. Now, here in about a week or so, Tennessee will have their pro day. If he balls out at his pro day, I think you'll start seeing Jermod McCoy, and I think that's who Paul Daner took in the athletic mock draft. You'll start seeing Jermod McCoy as a real option for pick 10. And I don't hate it. The only part of me that hates it is it probably means moving Dax Hill back inside.
Yeah, see, I don't want to do that. Keep him where he's at. That's what concerns me. I mean, but now Delane. Now, okay, say if what's his name didn't get hurt, the Tennessee. I keep forgetting the Tennessee guy didn't get hurt. Why is he better than Delane? What is it about Delane that
he's a shutdown Corner. I know Delane was very good, basically a shutdown corner for LSU this year. But McCoy's, I feel like, a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. Delane is tough in run support too. They're not going to be too far off either way. To be honest, they're not.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But McCoy's tape was that good. Like his ability and like press man, his physicality is just different. It's on another level than any other corner in this class. And he's a top 5 prospect without the injury. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Like I said, moving Dax back to the slot, they say he can play the slot. No, he's good at outside corner. Keep him at outside corner. But the thing of it is, if you draft, like, whatever player gets drafted, I'm going to be a stubborn jackass here. I want a guy that can contribute immediately, not a guy that's eventually going to replace somebody. I'm not thinking future here. I'm thinking now. Burrow is 30 years old this year, man. We have to get someone that can contribute immediately. Sorry. But
I think mock, though, Greg, like we could – I think it's going to be a real scenario, and we'll do it when we do first-round mocks, that you're going to be looking at corners and having the conversation of which corner, this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm. No, okay.
Let's play it out. Caleb Downs is on the board.
What's Caleb Downs? I would take Downs because you just pointed out, he can play in the nickel. You know you can get creative and use him. Let's face it, man. You have to have 3 safeties, literally, with the way their slot receivers, tight ends are more athletic. I think, and there's a part of me thinks that maybe Battle's better playing near the line of scrimmage because he's a better tackler, right? I would rather have Downs and Cook in the backfield mostly.
Well, and also just in general, you don't pass on a Caleb Downs.
No,
because of Jordan Battle.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Sorry. Go ahead.
You don't like. I like Jordan Battle. I like him, but there's a lot of people in this fan base who don't, and that's fair. Like the tackling inconsistencies are that's a legitimate concern. If you have Brian Cook and Caleb Downs, your back end is much more reliable, right?
Right.
So even if your linebackers struggle a bit, guess what? You've got 2 erasers at safety. And you can still use all 3. So to me, we're taking Caleb Downs because he's the best player here.
Yes.
Now we'll have other mocks where he's not, and this, that, and the other. We're going to do 3 rounds. And I feel like we got to find us the way to work in a linebacker within these on these day 2 picks here.
Yeah, hey, Nostradamus, I agree with you right there. But yeah, no, Dale, I agree with you. You don't turn down getting a guy that can make your team better just because, we have this guy. I mean, you just don't do that. You do who's the best player that can contribute for you. Yes, totally agree. Well, you know what? I know this chop is a big thing.
I can't believe Manuel McNeil Warren's available because I
was going to say, and I would have gone to Laner probably.
Right.
No, Chop is very high on him. All right, what is it about that guy you like? I got to get more back into this. What is it about the Toledo safety that's like, holy shit, this guy's a badass?
Ball hawk, 6'3", 205 pounds, so good size. He'll come downhill and bring the physicality, but he's solid and he's just a good all-around safety. I feel good about.
But no, I don't mean to stick with safeties here. The Oregon safety is slowly moving up. What was it about? Would you be mad if we took him at 10? I'm so sorry to go back.
I would. I know Goodberry and a lot of people are in on him at 10. I can't. He doesn't do it for me. I know he's a good athlete. I knew he was going to run a 4.3.
Okay,
but he also will get bulldozed.
Ooh.
Against the run on the goal line and stuff. There's some clips where he gets bulldozed. And while he's good in coverage with his speed, I don't think he's great. I don't think his awareness. I think he can bite on play fakes. He's my safety 3. He's still a first-round guy, but pick 10 is a bit rich for me. Now, forget him. Not going to be mad because he's versatile. You can do a lot with him.
Yeah, but okay. I just wanted to know that. Okay, so we can't take the safety. Buddy, I trust your judgment right here. I really got to start reading up a lot more.
Yeah. We got Caden McDonald. I could be a full Buckeye homer and take him and just be like, we're going to stop the hell out of the run.
Well, now, does that mean Slayton? Oh, no, Slayton, his job could be on the line if we took him?
I wouldn't say his job would be on the line, but it's the last year of his contract either way. And you're getting a guy who's going to fill that position for at minimum 4 years.
Whoa. Here, Falcons-Eagles trade. Falcons and Eagles swap 4th and 6th round picks. Atlanta just got Sidney Brown. Holy crap. What are they going to do? They got Sidney Brown, Jesse Bates, and what's his name from Notre Dame last year?
Yeah, well, Philly's definitely taking the safety.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, they're screaming. I mean, they were anyways. Sidney Brown hasn't really worked out. They're just trying to get something for him. What'd they get for him? What was the trade back?
Okay, sorry about this. Okay. Oh, here we go. God damn it. Sorry. Here we go. Falcons and Eagles swap 4th and 6th round picks, with Atlanta also acquiring Sidney Brown. So picks 114 and 197 to the Eagles in exchange for 122, 215, and Sidney Brown. So I think we can agree, Dale, Atlanta's not going to be taking a safety.
No, but Philly is for sure. And
yeah,
Sidney Brown was not in their plans at all.
Oh, is he just been terrible lately, or
a lot of injuries, I think, too. Now let's go to linebackers here for round 2. Rodriguez, Hill, Goldie are all here, and we talked about them during the episode.
Rodriguez, man. I know Chops harped about him a lot, man. He brings that nastiness to him. Man, Rodriguez. Let's go to the edge rushers, because we didn't go edge first round. Take me to the edge. I got to educate myself on edge.
Well, I think we should do a show on that too. Maybe next Friday that'll be our show. But TJ Parker, because I don't want to go through all these guys, and I've talked about some of them. Well, I've talked about all of them at different times, but these damn ads are killing me. But TJ Parker, to me, is still a late first round type of guy, but there's a world where he falls to 41. Like 6 forced fumbles the year before, none this year. Sack production almost cut in half from like 11 to 5.5, something like that. It was almost half. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but he fits the Bengals mold. Heavy-handed, set the edge. Wow. Maybe he's not explosive as a pass rusher, but he gets the job done with power. I think the Bengals would love TJ Parker, and if he's there at 41, I don't have a problem with it. Let's take it instead of doing linebacker, because we're only doing one more round, and see what linebackers fall.
Yes, it's a deep linebacker class. Let's do it.
And now we'll see if there's a linebacker worthy of taking in the 3rd round.
Harold Perkins. Let's do it for Chop.
Oh, God. I think that's such a reach. And obviously, my board, everyone knows that Caleb Elam's, or I would strongly consider it, TCU guy. But for Pork Chop, for the one time.
Tony Blake, you're saying who's the linebacker that kissed his teammates? No, you're thinking of Christian Wilkins, the D lineman. He's still out there.
I don't love the Harold Perkins pick, but we did it for the Pork Chop.
I'll do it
for the Pork Chop.
I'm happy with that deal.
In this quick 3-round mock, Caleb Downs, best player, you just take him. Safety. Then we went edge TJ Parker because, once again, best player. That's why they're both A+ grades. Harold Perkins D+ because he sucks. He's not worthy of a 3rd-round pick, but I did it for Pork Chop, and you hope that you can get the best out of him. And guess what? You can put him on the edge. You can play him at linebacker, so you can get creative with him and do some things there.
There you go. Dale, I'd be happy with this, man. I mean, Caleb Downs, once in a lifetime pick, and you got 2 other. You're just solidifying your defense right here. You're adding more players. I still think, like I said, I got to study the edge a lot more. But the linebackers, man, I think this is a very deep linebacker class. I think we can get a good quality guy in the later rounds. I'm really focused on them. I got to look at the edge though also.
Yeah. And maybe on Sports with Strawberry Ice, maybe if I can bring this up, share my screen, maybe I'll just do a 7-round mock on Sports with Strawberry Ice because AC is not going to be on. I continue to talk draft because Jeff's going to talk about how great and Jeff, I know you were in here earlier. If you're listening, you're going to talk about how great Jordan Schultz thinks the Bengals did great. And that's when you have Greg on. I don't think the Bengals have done nearly enough on defense.
No, we didn't do enough. I'm glad you brought this up. I will say this, Mr. Positive. We did great, but you still didn't do enough.
We got good players. We got 3 good players. We like the players we got.
Right. We got the players we got. Well, I'm not bitching about that at all. But let me ask you this. Instead of Boy Mafia, we got Devin Lloyd instead. Would you still be upset because you got the top safety and top linebacker would just be like, no, we still didn't do anything.
I would hope had we got Devin Lloyd, we would have got Arnold Ebiketie. You know what I'm saying? Like we have so many needs that if you got Lloyd, you should have got Ebiketie. You got Mafe, you should have got Chanel.
Right, exactly. And the thing of it is still, but like I say, corner's not being talked to. I mean, look, I was ignoring corner, but after Dana made a good point, after your 2 top corners, you are completely fucked after that.
Well, I talked about Emerson. I talked about McCreary. I knew that it would have been nice to add to that room.
I liked Martin Emerson coming out of the draft, and he was doing well. Why not get the damn phone and pick it up and call one of these guys right now? Well, I agree with you.
All right, man. Well, we're going to end this one. I'll be on with Jeff at 5:30. If anybody wants to tune in, that would be much appreciated. And I appreciate y'all tuning into this show. And we'll at least be back next Friday, if not sooner. You never know. Maybe the Bengals will surprise us and do something. I doubt it, but maybe.
Maybe.
For the Big Savage,